question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam Secretary, as one of the physician members of the committee, you know I've always been unwavering in my commitment to the full repeal of Obamacare. But now as we approach full implementation, however, I believe that we must chip away at the most egregious parts of the law. And to that point, Secretary Sebelius, you stated in a speech in Philadelphia in late March of this year that some men and younger customers could see their insurance rates increase because of the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. Do you think that it is fair that young people will pay higher insurance rates because of this law?
Sir, I think we don't know what the rates will look like until the insurers file their plans. And the very good news is that state insurance departments around the country have additional resources to review those.
Well, let me, in the interest of time, I'm asking you a simple question. Do you think that it is fair that Obamacare asks young people to pay higher insurance rates? I know you don't know what they'll be, but is it fair? Do you think it's fair?
Well, there's nothing in the law that asks young people to pay higher rates.
Well, Secretary Sebelius, actuary in Oliver Wyman's firm produced a study that identified how wealthy a young person had to be before their health costs went up because of Obamacare. I ask you this, do you happen to know how wealthy a young person in 2014, when you've fully implemented these exchanges, will have to be, how wealthy that person would have to be to not pay higher out-of-pocket insurance premiums?
Well, that's an impossible question, but what we know about young people right now who are not insured, a number of them are on their parents' plans until age 20.
Well, we're talking about, assume that this person is 27 years old.
Then anyone under 400% of poverty will qualify for a tax subsidy, an upfront tax subsidy, and will have insurance policies with far lower copays and coinsurance.
Well, the answer, Madam Secretary, the answer, according to this actuarial study, is $25,000. Secretary Sebelius, do you think that asking a young person who makes $25,500 to pay more for their insurance under Obamacare, is that fair?
Well, that isn't accurate. Unfortunately, somebody who's making $25,500 would definitely qualify for a subsidy if he or she is purchasing coverage in the individual market, so they will not pay more out of pocket than that.
I don't know how much that subsidy might be, Madam Secretary, but even with the subsidy, they will be paying more under Obamacare than they would be paying 4 years ago for the same insurance coverage.
That is absolutely not.
That is absolutely true. And let me ask you that, Madam Secretary. Let me ask you this next question: has your department created contingency plans in the event that young people, like I just described, choose to pay the penalty instead of purchasing insurance that they can't afford? Have you developed a contingency plan in the event that that occurs?
No, sir. We intend to implement the law, but I think educating young people about what options they will have that they do not have now, that they will be in a larger pool, that there are subsidies available to them which they absolutely do not know, and that they will have full insurance coverage. Yeah. Young women know that no longer will it be legal for an insurance company to charge 50 or 75% more for exactly the same coverage. And
I only mentioned young men because that was who you addressed in that speech in Philadelphia. And look, you're a lot more optimistic, obviously, about how this is going to work in these exchanges in January 1 of 2014 than I am. But I would recommend, highly recommend to you, Madam Secretary, that you do develop a contingency plan in the event that so many of these young people look at that and say, hey, look, here I am, straight out of college. I'm now 27, so I'm not on my parents' policy, and furthermore, they kicked me out of the basement. I've got $250,000 worth of higher education debt. I'm engaged. I'm trying to build a life. I've got a job. I strongly suggest that your department create this contingency plan, and I would suggest that you submit that to me and to this committee, and furthermore, not let a train wreck or any other excuse slow it down. And I yield back the balance of my time.
Well, Congressman, the other thing that's available